Hey guys, what's up? Yes, back with the back with the TGIF, just shooting the breeze live stream part two. I know I did one earlier, except the fact that it got interrupted, but it was a good interruption due to the fact that, as the title of this one says, I have great news. As I check something here on my YouTube channel, make sure everybody. I have great news. Like I said, I have some great news here as I check everything, make sure everything's working here on my YouTube channel. But great news, the title says it best here for the second part. I am target bound. That's right. I will be working potentially very soon in the near future for Target. Yes, I got the phone. That phone call you saw at the beginning of the live stream, if you will, or during the first live stream, if you will. Um, was from Target. They gave me the call, and basically, long story short, I will be, basically employed very, very soon by Target. And it's like I got to thank God for this opportunity. Everybody's been praying for me, pulling for me to get this, at least get something to get me out of the house. And now I finally have the opportunity ahead of me. Here's what's interesting. I thought I had an opportunity with, of course, Dollar Tree, but they have yet to call me back and everything. Long story short, when it came to Dollar Tree, everything was turning out okay until the manager called me up and needed me at a certain time. I told her I couldn't be there. She understood. But me and my big mouth said, "Oh, I can be there at this time." And she's like, "Oh," and obviously she took that seriously. Then she called me up moments later and asked if I can be there at 1. And I said, and I thought honestly I could be there, but the bus scheduling didn't work out right. And I tried to get Lyft and Uber, and apparently Lyft and Uber, we're only bringing in people we're only going to assign people to pick people up just as the time of when they're supposed to pick you up, you know, happens. Like I needed them to pick me up like around 12:35. That's when they said, "Oh, we're going to find you a driver." What sense does that make? You need to find the person before that. And then the bus wouldn't have worked out, and the bus scheduling wouldn't have worked the way it's supposed to. But if what I'm thinking is going to be the schedule here for Target in the near future works out fine, then I'm going to be good. I'm going to be absolutely good when it's all said and done. So I'm I'm pretty happy about this, guys. I mean, honestly, when you think about it, you know, having a brief cup of tea with these guys kind of reminds me a little bit of when I worked for Hastings. It's like I had a cup of tea I had a cup of tea. Bleh, easy me to say. What I'm saying is, I did Burger King for about 4.5 years. Then I had a cup of tea, a couple of months, more time. Well, basically, it was more of a double shot of coffee. I'll put it that way. Not a cup of tea, but it was like a double shot of coffee with Hastings for a few months, and then I went later on to Food for Less, which was right next door to me, and was there for over a year before, unfortunately, beyond my control, the store got shut down. But anyway, that's what it kind of reminds me of here. It's like I did 6.5 years at Walmart, waited about a year and about a year and 3 months, basically 15 months, just about to get back into work, got work, but then that that didn't work out fine whatsoever. Um, it looked like it was, but it didn't. And then, basically, long story short, I end up doing the virtual. I end up applying online for Target for a second time, as I mentioned in the other live stream. I did the higher view virtual interview, and a couple of days later, which is today, I ended up getting the call. So yeah, it kind of reminds me of that. It's like so weird, if you know what I mean. So weird. Um, and you gotta excuse me here. Gonna get me some of my G Fuel. I'm probably gonna have to start buying a lot of this now, eventually down the line, or ordering it anyway. I'm gonna have to, like I said, eventually, order the G Fuel, a lot more G Fuel down the line, due to the fact that I'm gonna need the energy, if you will, when I'm working for these guys, because uh, there we go. Because if it's a 40-hour shift, 35 to 40 hours, I would assume, maybe more. You're gonna need all the energy in the world to 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 do that. And by the way, guys, just to let you know, super chats are open. You want to help me out there? You want bring up something for me to discuss? While I can, here on this live stream part 2, it'd be greatly appreciated until I get my first check from Target, hopefully, which will happen, if you will. So, as I put this in here, and this is the Angry Joe Show tumbler. This is one of those exclusive tumblers that G Fuel created. They have one in purple and sky blue it's called the Hornet color, mainly for the Charlotte Hornets. They have a see-through one, kind of a clear one, and they also have a forest green one. I have all of them basically. I have all the tumblers, if you will. But yeah, I'm gonna have to really buy up a lot of this eventually. I mean, this here I have not used that much. I've not used it that much at all. I mean, it's getting low, there's no doubt, but I've not used it that much. And it's their Sonic flavored one. And I do have another one, basically ready to go, and it is the Battle Juice one. It's the Battle Juice one. So I have another one ready to go, and I have the Sonic one, up and ready to, already ready to go, if you will, for me to drink and everything. Long story short, though, like I said, it's just, going through this pace reminds me of that one time. Like I said, after 4 years or so with Burger King, I ended up for like a double shot of coffee, if you will, not a cup of, not like a you know not like for a cup of tea, but it was like a double cup of coffee, if you will, for Hastings for a couple months. And then I went to Food for Less for over a year, and like I said, beyond my control, they had to shut down. They didn't let me go or fire me or anything. It was like they shut down, and it got to a point that when I decided, okay, I didn't want to be there when they shut down, because I just didn't want to be there when the door closes. It got to a point when I bumped into one of the managers at Walmart when I was shopping. They asked if I would like to come back and do the last week, and I said, no, that's okay with me. That's fine. I don't want to do it or anything like that, because I didn't want to be there when those doors shut. It would be a little too hard for me to do that. So that was beyond my control. So I waited a little after that, and then I basically had a cup of tea with Home Depot. Well, maybe more than a cup of tea. I would say a double cup of tea or double cup of coffee, just like with Hastings. Did a few months with Home Depot, and then got a job at Walmart after I went back to Kansas from being here, because I came out here for my birthday in 2006, as well as to see my grandfather, who was battling cancer, and unfortunately passed on my birthday. So I ended up doing an extended stay, and so I didn't leave until about almost the beginning of August. And when I finally got back, one of the first things I did was get on my computer, which one of my caseworkers, my financial caseworker from Independence Inc., had called the beast, because I was paying for it a lot from Rent-A-Center. I got on there and I applied online, and next thing I know, I got a call almost immediately that same day. It's like I applied online, all of a sudden, boom, they called me up, and next thing I knew, I was working for the Walmart in Lawrence, Kansas for a little over a year. But I did that because I made up my mind that I was going to save up money, get a job and save up money to come back here and live. Because after my grandpa passed on my birthday, it was like, that just woke me up, and it's like, hey, I can't be out there in Kansas anymore. Even though I was living on my own, doing my own thing, I couldn't just stay out there anymore, because I just couldn't stay out there anymore, because with things like that happening and stuff. It's like, I knew I just had to be I just had to be close to my family, and so I saved up as much money as I could before I finally, along with my dad's help, I was able to move back out here to California to be with my family. But yeah, it's one of those situations to where it feels like deja vu, if you will. Feels like deja vu. But what's funny is that was about 15 years ago. That was 15. Actually, well, not actually 15. It was actually 14. Yeah, it's going to be 15 years since I've been back. This November it'll be 15 years since I've been back. So a decade and a half. But yeah, it basically feels like that. If you catch my drift, it basically feels like that kind of scenario. But hopefully this will work out better, because one thing a lot of people have been asking me since I've told them the good news is, how am I going to work around that? And I told them, look, I know what the bus schedule is going to be like. And if I have to leave early, I'll have to leave early. One of the things me and my mom will have to do, at least I will have to do the night before, is put down a lot of the pads for our dog, because if neither one of us is going to be here, except maybe in the summer with my mom or spring break, with my mom, she needs to go out. She's going to, and nobody's here to let her out. She's going to have a place to go. And that place is going to have to be on the mats, if you catch my drift. I think that's enough. I think that might be enough of a tumblation, if you know what I mean. Oh yeah, it's good. Really good here. But anyway, it's good stuff. And if you want to get a tumbler anyway, just for your, let's say your not just your G Fuel drink, but let's say you want to get a tumbler for your workout drinks, like those milkshakes and all that they have. I recommend getting one from G Fuel and help them out. Get the Angry Joe Show one. But yeah, just I'm just happy to finally have a job and everything, and just thank the Lord for it in a big way, because even though it took a couple of days, it could have taken longer. It's like now I'm suddenly finally on the verge of employment again. And like I said, the Dollar Tree deal just reminded me a lot of that, brief cup of tea, if you will. Well, not cup of tea, but a brief double shot of coffee that I had with Hastings and Home Depot, where I only worked with them for a couple of months. And then that was it. That was it. There was no other, reasoning for me to be there. I mean, they let me go. They basically let me go, essentially. Home Depot, which was, well, Hastings, they let me go because I wasn't fulfilling the job of being a good maintenance person, but I was doing the best I could. And Home Depot let me go because they had overhired, so they had to lay some people off. Mostly the newer people were the ones they laid off. And I think maybe it's also the fact that I let them know I was going to have to take some time to, be out there with my family for my birthday, and that didn't really work with them. But they tried to work around it, and you kind of get the idea. It's it's just one of those situations. But yeah, I'm just thankful to finally have this opportunity. Just really thankful. Um, and what's funny is I just found out that I have a cousin that works for is a manager at one of the Targets in Florida. Which is pretty cool. So at least I know I have family working for the same company I'm working for. And I know that, as I mentioned before, we have a church friend, a friend at church, that a friend at church basically that, and hello to Furby Dude 05. Thank you for joining me in the chat here. But like I said, we also have a friend at church who has a family member working for the same, store that I'll be working at. So at least I'll have someone maybe that I will know and, be able to get along with, and hopefully maybe will help me out. No, I wouldn't say hopefully, but will definitely help me out if they can. For any of you guys joining in, like I said, super chats are open if you wanted me to discuss anything else here on this live chat part 2. So if you have anything you feel I should, give my thoughts on, super chats would be greatly appreciated when you talk about them. Or when you want me to talk about them, that's up to you. Um, the other the other reason I wanted to come on here, and I think the title of the video says it best, is I want to give you, not the title, but let me see, let me make sure, guys. Hold on. Find some breathing room. And got a commercial. Okay, it doesn't say there, but in the description, it does state that I'm also want to give you a bit of a channel update, and it's a big one related to, like I said, the title of the video of me finally working, getting work again officially in a big way. What that will do with this channel is, depending on the hours, which I think will most likely be during the day, if you will. But depending on the hours, with me, I'll still do videos and stuff. I'm not going to stop doing that. The only opportunity I will have sometimes is whatever days they give me off. I look at it this way: I work the schedule I'm going to work, and whatever days I have off, that's when I'm going to bombard you guys with videos and stuff, live streams or whatever, as best I can. If I'm not so out of it, if you know what I mean. But I will try to do as best I can sometimes with the videos. Now here's the thing: if I arrive at my job early, depending whether or not it's early or anything, I will have this. I will be using to basically do videos on the way, before I clock in or anything, as best as I can in that area. So yeah, I'll be doing some videos possibly like that. Basically what I'm getting at is the way I'll be doing videos for the channel, maybe live streams for the channel, will be similar to how they were with with Walmart, if you will. I mean, I know this will be a busier area that I'll be working at, but for me, I'm not going to treat it like it's anything different. I'm not going to treat it like not much is really going to change. I'm just going to have to like pick my spots, if you will, when it comes to doing my videos, and that's it. And they're not going to be long videos, and maybe just something I want to talk about real quickly, like I said, like I did at Walmart. The only difference now is I'm going to be filming them during my break time and lunchtime with Target, and that's about it. But yeah, that's really what's going to change most about this, is that if I do videos on location, they will be done. Basically, long story short, they will be done on location. Like before I clock in, maybe during a break. But I'll put it this way: if I get to my job early, it'll be early before I get out, and it will mostly be during lunch and when I get ready to go and board the bus and everything. While I wait for the bus to to take me home and everything. That basically will be about how I do the how I do the videos and everything outright. But yeah, that's basically what's going to be going on here. That's mainly what's going to be going on here. And I can't really say any more than that. What I may also do eventually, just in case to kind of cover my tracks, if you will, to kind of cover my tracks, is I might do what I've done during like the holidays. I might do a video here and there where I'll upload it, but I won't, I'll upload it, but I won't premiere it that day. I'll premiere it like when I'm working. So that way, when I'm working, at least you have some content heading your way. And I think that kind of helps out in a huge way, not just with myself, but with a lot of people. It helps out, tremendously, because at least, you have content being provided for the people that are following your content, if you know what I mean. So there'll be stuff like that. Basically, like I said, if I do any videos with my camera on location, it'll be like maybe before I clock in, lunchtime, and more than likely, after work, like when I'm waiting for the bus or something. And then after that, and well, not after that, but then, like when I have a day off, I'll be doing some as well. But also the fact that I'm probably going to be doing some videos to have, some content out there for you guys, just in case, I'm not in the mood to do anything during the day because I'll be probably tired from work. But, at least you'll have some kind of content heading your way, during that time frame. But yeah, that's about it. Like I told you that unless things change, I wasn't going to come up and give you another channel update, but things are changing, and they're changing for the better. They are changing for the better. Um, but yeah, that's really about it on that point. On that point there, but let's also talk about something that I mentioned in the first live stream as well. As we all know, we all know that tomorrow, I should say, the NFL playoffs begin, and everybody is wondering exactly how this kind of pans out. Like, what actually is going on here? Excuse me. Well, mainly it's all about seeding. It's all about the seeding process here in the playoffs. So you look at Tennessee and Green Bay; they're the number one teams, right? Well, Green Bay and Tennessee will be hosting, I should say, the lowest seeded team that advances, which means basically if the 49ers advance over the Cowboys, they'll be going to Green Bay. And if Pittsburgh or the Raiders win their matches, they'll be going either one of them will be going to Tennessee. That's pretty much the gist of it. If and the same, like I said, with the NFC, if the 49ers win or the Eagles win, one of them will be heading to Green Bay to fight the Packers, basically. So that's basically what it is. It's all about seeding. Now the question is, would one of the very lower seeds get to host a playoff? And yeah, that's a strong possibility. It is. It's a slightly strong possibility, but it's a possibility. And the seed that would host an NFC a playoff game, I should say, mainly the championship game, would be the sixth seed. So in other words, on the AFC side, if Pittsburgh wins all the way through from like the wild card and from the wild card game to beating Tennessee and stuff, they would go against they would have to travel to Las Vegas. That's right. They would have to travel to Las Vegas to play the Raiders if the Raiders do the same thing. If they, basically claw their way, basically beat the drum to their own path, if you will, in throughout the playoffs. They beat the Bengals, and then they beat either the Patriots or the Bills or whoever. Then they would be hosting. Then basically the constellation for, or not the constellation, but the reward for them would be hosting the AFC Championship. Same with the 49ers, if you will. If the 49ers win all the way through, if you will, in the playoffs, if they win all the way through, beating Dallas, beating Green Bay, and I think Philadelphia, I think they're the seventh seed. If Philadelphia wins all the way through as well, does the same thing, then San Francisco would be rewarded with hosting the NFC Championship at Levi Stadium. So in other words, basically the Raiders win, they do the thing they got to do, along with the Steelers. Then Allegiant Stadium in its second year would be having an AFC Championship game hosted at it. Well, Levi Stadium would have the second ever or third ever, I believe, NFC Championship, but it all depends on both teams doing what they have to do to get to that point. But yeah, if anybody's wondering if one of the lower seeded teams could succeed at doing so, could succeed and get the opportunity, the answer is yes. The answer is absolutely yes, that they can get that opportunity given to them without a shadow of a doubt. And because, like I said, it's all about seeding. Because let's say Tennessee doesn't make it, then the number 2 or number 3 or number 4 seeds would get or even number 5 seed, I should say, 2 the number 2 seed through 5 seed would have the opportunity ahead of them. If let's say one of the very lower seeds don't make it either, basically seeds 2, 3, 4, and 5 would have the opportunity in front of them, and that's about it. That's about it. So, basically the Raiders and the Niners got to do what they got to do to basically make history by being some of the first lowest seeded teams ever to host a conference championship. They got a lot to do if they want to make that happen. At least that's what I'm understanding. Like I said, at least that's what I'm understanding. Anyway, though, that's pretty much the gist of the Super Bowl tournament, the playoff tournament, if you will, for anybody that might be kind of new to it or still trying to learn. If you catch my drift. As for, and speaking of football games, we know that pretty much the college football season is over. The bowl season and all that is over, right? Not technically, because you have at least, I believe, 2 to 3 more games. Well, 2 games that I know of left to go. One, unless there's a change in schedule or something like that, one is the EastWest Shrine game. And that's mainly a regular all-star game that I think is voluntary. Is basically a voluntary. Easy for me. Hold on for a sec. I just drank this, and I got to drink some more just to get my thoughts together. There we go. But like I said, the East-West Shrine game is a very voluntary game that college students get to play. I think mainly juniors and seniors, and I think freshmen and sophomores also get a chance, but it's mostly like juniors and seniors that get to play to, have one last opportunity to, get some reps in, play some ball and all that before they have to focus on schooling or other athletic endeavors that they do for the school. So it's one of the last opportunities, and it's just a regular game, and just a regular college game. Like I said, East West Shrine. It's for a good cause, and like I said, unless something happens because of what's going on, they should be able to pull that. They should be able to pull it off without a hitch, if you know what I mean. And as far as the other one goes, this is the Senior Bowl. The Senior Bowl. It is one of the only, if not the only, I should say, college bowl game that gets broadcast, on the NFL Network and some of its affiliates. The reason being is because this bowl game, I think, somewhat voluntarily, or not. Well, I don't know if the Senior Bowl is a bowl game that you could play by choice, or it's one you do have to play to prove yourself. I don't really know. But I know that the Senior Bowl is basically treated like an actual NFL game because most of the players involved here are NFL prospects. They have basically made themselves eligible for the NFL draft. And some of them, I think, pulled themselves out of the other bowl games that were beneath the national championship game and the New Year's Day 6 game in the college football playoffs. They pulled themselves out so they could be ready for the draft, and I think ready for this game specifically. So yeah, the Senior Bowl is, like I said, one of the last 2 bowl games, or at least one of the last 3, I believe, that are played. But again, this one's a little bit more different because it's treated like an actual NFL game because played under NFL rules, so that the seniors that are going to be entering the draft next year, or entering the draft in a few months, I should say, can get an idea of what they will be in store for when they start playing in the actual NFL in the next 5 to 6 months, if you know what I mean. I think, well, not 5 to 6 months, but 6 to 7 months. That's what I'm saying. Next 7 to 6 to 7 months, they'll get an idea through the Senior Bowl game what to expect, because of the fact it's going to be played under NFL rules, and I think it's going to have NFL officials as well. So, there's that. So there's that as far as what's left of the college bowl season, if you will, if you're interested. The East-West Shrine game that I know of, as well as the Senior Bowl, which is probably the more important one out of the All-Star Bowl games, or the college All-Star Bowl games, because it's played under NFL rules. And I don't know if it's one of the I don't know if it's the only bowl game that is not a bowl game that you can skip out of voluntarily, and it has to. I don't know. I don't think it is, because if you're entering the NFL draft and you want a lot of the coaches of some of the teams that are going to be represented there to see what you're made of, and consider you as a draft pick for them, then I don't think it's I don't think it's a bowl game where you can voluntarily say, now I'm out, I'm not going to do this. I think it's a bowl game to where, if you're going to be taking part of the combines and all that you have to take part in, so you could show them, hey, this is what I can do, and this is how, and yes, I can follow the rules. So I'm probably going to say that I'll probably say it's one of the bowl. I would say it's one of the bowl games that they cannot, kind of opt out of. Basically, they can't opt out of it, because if they're gonna, if they're if they're opting out already of the college bowl games, and even some of the college New Year's Day 6 bowl games and stuff, if they're opting out of that so they can get themselves ready for the NFL, then to me this is going to be a bowl game where they can't do it, because this is like one of the opportunities, if not their main opportunity, to show that, hey, I can play in the NFL. I can follow the rules and everything. So I don't think they'll have that opportunity to basically opt out of this one, because this is like the main opportunity, the big stage, if you will. Excuse me, to show what they can do. To show what they can do. So yeah, that's basically, like I say, what's left of the college bowl season. Games. As far as I know. And again, guys, for those of you that are joining me live, super chats are open. If you have anything that you can think of that you want me to talk about, give my thoughts on, I would really appreciate it if you could super chat that to me. It will help me out a little bit until I get, started at work real soon with Target, which I'm happy to be part of now. Thank the Lord on that. Anyway, speaking of football, apparently, and let me double check this. Where's my where's my phone at? I know I just had it. Oh, there it is. It's under the playoff thing. Let me check here. Hold on, guys. So, yeah, we do have football coming back in the spring, I believe, for 2022. And it's a football league we have not seen in almost over 30 years. Yeah. It's owned, basically, according to what I understand here, it's owned by the National Spring Football League Enterprises. Fox Sports, basically, owns them. It says there's going to be no connection between the original and this new one. It says here that the seasons. It says basically it's going to run for a while from April 16th to July 3rd of this year with Fox, NBC, FS1, and USA broadcasting some games. And the teams are basically comprised of, 8 teams so far. Eight, is that true? 8 teams? Go figure. We only have 8 teams so far. We have apparently we have the Birmingham Stallions, Houston Gamblers, New Orleans Breakers, Tampa Bay Bandits, Michigan Panthers, New Jersey Generals, Philadelphia Stars, and Pittsburgh Maulers. Basically, it's the names basically of some of the originals. We don't have any yet here, but I think over time, if this is a success, this new incarnation is a success, we'll probably get some more teams expanded over time. But yeah, apparently starting in April, I think we're going to have more football, which is the USFL, and it's going to be broadcast on Fox, NBC, FS1, and USA, and I think in connection with NBC and USA, Peacock as well. So yeah, football is going to still go on, guys. It's still going to happen. I know that they want to try to reignite the XFL again, and if that happens, we're going to have football almost almost year round because you'll have the USFL if this succeeds. You'll have the XFL. By extension, you'll have the arena football, and then the NFL. It's like going to be football up the bonanza, along with the likes of baseball and basketball to boot. So yeah, if you love football, you're going to get your fill of it, this year and probably in the foreseeable future. Anyway, though, yeah, football is going to keep going, and it may have to. And you know what? The USFL may be the only option if this whole baseball thing doesn't this whole baseball deal thing doesn't work out, which I think it will. I think it will. I don't think they're going to want to drag this on all the way to the last minute. I think they're going to want to get some kind of deal done, and I think honestly, what it really is it comes down to the fact that you have the leagues, all these sports leagues, NBA, NFL, and all that. They're going through these protocols and they're mandating the players and coaches, got to get the shot, get the booster. And obviously, like everybody else, some of these players and coaches don't want to do it because they feel it's not, there's not anything really, there's no base. Basically, they feel like there's no reasoning for it. So I'm guessing, in my opinion, that part of the deal is, hey, let us have the choice. Let us have the choice of getting this shot and going from there. From what I can tell, Um, but yeah, if something doesn't work out, the USFL may be the only option, along with basketball playoff and March Madness, to get people excited for. If you know what I mean. Good. Um, Also, speaking of sports, we got the Olympics coming up in less than a month now, and I can tell you, it's going to be a very intriguing Olympics. Very intriguing, mainly because you have, mainly you're gonna have a lot of athletes there. You're gonna have a lot of athletes, And but some of the sports in which the countries take part in are going to be minus a few of these countries. Like hockey's not going to have anybody from the USA, and I'm sure other places will be pulling out their athletes when it comes to certain athletics, mainly due to the fact that with the NHL, sometimes they got to send players, to the Olympics for hockey, and they can't do that because of the fact that, well, mainly, the NHL. And I'm sorry for the lag there. The NHL has been on lag, not lag, but has been on, kind of up and down a little bit, if you will, to where they've had to cancel some games, postpone some games, reschedule games. So it's kind of thrown them for a loop to the point that they can't, get anybody out there to help represent the U.S. in the Olympics. So hockey is going to be a no-go for us unless something has changed, and it's still going to happen. But it's going to be a no-go. But yeah, this year's Winter Olympics is going to be really interesting, mainly because of the fact that of the location it's taking place in. And you can't tell me that the international committee, the Olympic committee, is not considering, okay, how do we get some of these athletes who do their events, who are scheduled to be in these set events, in and out when it's all said and done. Like, what are we going to do? And if they go the route that they did with the Olympics, where after some of the events take place and some athletes do not qualify or anything like that, if they're going to do what I think they're going to do, if they're going to pull the same thing there to where after an athlete is done competing, whether they're eliminated or not, and that's basically get them out of the area, get them out of the arena, the venue, get them to the hotel, get them to grab their stuff, pack up, get them to the airport. If they're going to do it like that, I won't be surprised. I will not be surprised anything, if they go that route. If they say, okay, so and so, pack up your stuff, you're done, right? You're right, you're done, right? And that person's like, yeah, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. Why? And they'll be like, okay, then pack up. Let's pack up your gym bag, your gym bag here. Get your stuff, get in the car, and let's go to a hotel. Pick up your stuff, okay? And then they go to the hotel, they pick up the stuff, and they say, okay, now we're gonna head to the airport. Boom, you're out of here. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe that gets announced that that's a situation that they do. I would not be surprised whatsoever. I would not be surprised whatsoever if that's a situation that they do. Um, but yeah, it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be an interesting Olympics this year. Really interesting Olympics because it's like you look at what has to be done or look at possibly what's going to be done to get this off the ground. And I'm going to tell you honestly that if I was China, and I say this with all due respect, I would have said, look, we don't deserve to have the Olympics as much, even though we spent a lot of money to get it, to win the bid. If I'm China after everything's gone down and the way the world looks at you right now, because they feel that you're at fault for what happened, if I'm them, I'm like, okay, look, if I'm the government there or whatever, and I say that with all due respect, I basically say, look, as much as we want to have the Olympics here, we can't. I think that is it in China? It's in China, right? It's in China. I would be like, I can't have it here because it'd be awkward, and I would have given it to the city that came in second, if you will. I would have given it to that city, to that country, that city in that country, because basically, one, it would show that I am truly sorry for what I've done, but also it would, and but well, basically, what I'm trying to say is it would show that I'm truly sorry for what happened, and that I am honestly humbling myself by forfeiting my country's opportunity to host this Olympics to the country that came in second because of the awkwardness, because of the uneasiness that this might present. And I think if they would have done something like that, it would have been better. It would have been a lot better for them. you know, that would have been, a lot better. And I'm getting some messages coming in. I'm getting some messages coming in from my family, if you will, congratulating me on my job, getting my job essentially with Target. Um, but yeah, it's going to be basically it's going to be a very intriguing, interesting, if not at times very awkward Winter Olympics next month. When it comes to taking place in China, because like I said, and I do apologize for the lag there, because like I said, I feel that you know if I was in the position, like I said, I would, if I was the government, I would have called the Olympic Committee and said, "Hey, we want to forfeit this opportunity for right now. Give it to the country, the city and the country that came in second. Give it to them, and as a bit of a, I guess you could say, an apology for you know, causing things to be the way they are, or at least being partially responsible for the way things are." Um, because with this whole COVID situation and stuff. So that's what I would do. That's what I would have. That's what I would have done, I should say, if I was the government of China. I would have said, I would have called up the Olympic Committee, met with them, and said, look, give it to this country. I think, what was it, Russia? I think was going to be the next one or something. A country around Russia or something. I would have said, give it to them. It's a lot easier. Or not a lot easier, but basically give it to them. Tell them and the rest of the world that this is our way of saying we're sorry and we're humbling ourselves, because we know it would be very awkward for anybody to come into this country based off what's happened in the past. Again, that's what I would have done, but apparently that's not going to happen, and because of that, there's going to be some athletes, men and women, that may or may not, miss out on the opportunity to perform, if you know what I mean. Like I said, with the hockey team, it's going to be a rare situation to where one country will not be represented in hockey because of the awkwardness there. But again, maybe things might change. Who knows? But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's an interesting conundrum, if you will. Interesting conundrum, if you will. Easy for me to say, conundrum, if you will, with this whole, with with the way the Olympics are. I mean, they're still going to have Team USA be there. It's just it's going to be one of those things that's like there's going to be certain athletes that are going to be there, and some that won't show up until maybe a day or two before their event because of what's happening and everything, safety protocols and stuff. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what occurs. We'll see what occurs. If you get my drift. And again, guys, super chats are open. If you have anything you want me to give my thoughts on, I would appreciate it very much if you put it in a super chat. And if you can't afford too much of the super chat, $2 to $5, I would consider being a great gesture. If you want to do that, that's totally up to you. But it'll really help me out until I start getting financially back on my feet with this new job of mine. But yeah, that's all I want to say on the Olympic part. I also want to talk about this. I don't know if you guys know about it. I'm sure you do. They recently put out the trailer for Bob's Burgers movie, the Bob Burgers movie, and it looks interesting. Excuse me, it looks interesting. I'll say that it looks really interesting. Some might say it looks like an extension of the of the series, but as we know, when it comes to making movies based on some of the animation domination shows on Fox, that they expand more, they do more with the story and the characters than what you would normally see in the show. A good example of that is the Simpsons movie, which was a big hit. So I would expect them to probably do the same thing here with the Bob's Burgers movie. I would expect them to do the same thing here. I really would. And be right back. Hold on. Okay, guys. Okay. Okay, well, all right. So I just go to do the dishes a little bit, watch out my angry Joe Tumbler. And I come back, I got a few new people in the live chat. Thank you. And guys, again, if you have anything to discuss, if you want to super chat me that, I would greatly appreciate it. $2 to $5 is probably, what I would recommend. because that's what I do with some of the people I support, like just Alex and JD and Solomon. There are times if I can't do too much, I usually give them about $2 to $5 just to, ask something more, say, hi and stuff. If you want to do that, it'd be greatly appreciated until I get on the job here. And welcome to Super Godzilla Vlogs, Super Godzilla Vlogs. Thank you for coming into the live chat, as well as Gadget the Mouse. Yeah, somebody going by the name of Gadget the Mouse. Thank you for joining in. Really appreciate it, guys. Again, super chats, I would really appreciate and recommend you guys do that. Again, it doesn't have to be too much. $2 to $5 if you want to do that is probably the cheapest route I would suggest going. If you have anything you want me to talk about, just let me know. Super Godzilla Vlogs, you're asking me, can we see Friendship is Magic all the seasons on Blu-ray? I would say potentially soon. I would say potentially we might get that. And the reason I think we could potentially see Friendship is Magic, on Blu-ray down the line, is you got the new movie, which I think may have gotten a DVD and Blu-ray release recently. I'm not really sure. Somebody said they got it, but I don't know if that's official or not. But if you're going to be promoting the new series that's coming on Netflix, along with its movie, I think honestly, if I'm Hasbro, I would go with. I would honestly go. This is the truth. I would go with a Blu-ray release. I would honestly go with a Blu-ray release because here's the thing. Earlier last month, it was reported that Friendship is Magic could be going the route that Best Gift Ever, Forgotten Friendship, and I think Roller Coaster of Friendship went at the end of December, and that's being taken off Netflix and potentially going someplace else. Everybody thought that the same was going to be for Friendship is Magic at the end of this month, but the expiration date that Netflix usually puts onto shows and movies that'll be leaving at a certain time was removed. So we don't know if an extension got made or got basically we don't know if an extension got reached or anything between the two sides. I'm assuming something got agreed upon because again, why would you want to take off a show that the show you're going to be showcasing, the series you're going to be airing, if you will, on your streaming service is connected to it in some way, and that of course being new generation G5. Why would you take off the generation it's connected to, if you will, if you're going basically, if you're going to be promoting and focusing on generation 5 and saying that, hey, it's continuing on, or at least it has some connection to the previous generation. Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. You'd want to have the previous generation there so that even the newer fans, could have an idea of exactly, what's, what, characters like Sunny Star Scout and Hitch Trailblazer and Izzy Moonbow and Pip and Princess Pip Petals, if you will, and Zipstorm are acknowledging. And thank you for the $1.49 super chat, Gadget the Mouse. Really appreciate that. Second super chat I've ever had. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Again, super chats, guys, are open if you want to donate in some way to help me out, as well as, like if you got something to discuss, like I said, between $2 to $5 is the best way to go. I mean, as I just mentioned, there are times I want to donate a lot, to Alex and JD and Solomon to show my appreciation, but I can't. So I do what I can. So I do what I can and all that. But we'll see what we'll see what happens when I start working and everything. If maybe I can make up for that, because one thing I would love to do, and I came close to this last year during WrestleMania weekend when Alex did this. Alex, formerly Deluxe Man, has created this thing called the Super Chat Championship, and whoever donates the most during one of the major pay-per-views it's defended in becomes the Super Chat champion. And I, one time during WrestleMania weekend last year, donated $100. And I thought that was going to be the opportunity, but then all of a sudden, here comes guys like Nickname Mai and a few others, and it's like King Mike Titus, if you will, all of them just jumping in and saying, "Nope, it's mine," and everything. And Alex sometimes would be in shock when he would see some of these super chats coming in. He'd be like, "Oh my god!" It's like one time I remember one time he was, doing just a regular video and a regular live stream, if you will, with the super chats, and then all of a sudden he's talking, and all of a sudden he hears this um, thing go off saying, $100, and he's like, or something like, I don't know if it was 100 or 500 or something like that, but all of a sudden he hears this $500, and he's like, holy crap! He's like, he couldn't believe it. He could not believe it. But yeah, thank you, Gadget the Mouse, for the $1.49 super chat in euro, if you will. I have to see what that is. Let's see what that is. Basically, thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it. Again, guys, you got anything else you want me to talk about? Super chat it, and I will definitely give you my thoughts on it. There is no doubt. There is no doubt, period, that I will talk about it. See what this is. Oh, okay, cool. That's cool. Me. Thank you very much again, Gadget the Mouse. I appreciate that. And speaking of Gadget the Mouse, I do want to show you this. This is something I do have. I want to show you this, guys. I bought this last year. Look at that. It's one of the figures they reissued or brought out with last year. Look at that. I have her, and then of course up here, I don't know if you can see it, right where the 3 is, if you will, while I'm pointing, have the bendable Dale as well. So yeah, thank you again, Gadget the Mouse, for doing that. And again, I know I'm repeating myself here, guys, but it's worth repeating. You have anything to talk about? Super chat it to me, whatever you can afford to do so, and I will talk about it. I'll give you my thoughts on it. And speaking of giving my thoughts on something, hold on for a sec. One sec. Now, before I show you this, I lost track of what I was going to say, but I do want to mention that, speaking of Gadget the Mouse and what I just showed you there, in case you guys don't know, Rescue Rangers is coming to Blu-ray this month, within the next, I would say, 11 days, I believe. It was originally supposed to come out in February. It still might be doing that for retail. But for Movie Club exclusive, according to a friend of mine, it's Frank Hill here on YouTube. It's going to be coming out as a Disney Movie Club exclusive on Blu-ray. It's going to be a 6-disc set with all 65 episodes. So yeah, Rescue Rangers, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers is coming to Blu-ray officially this month as a Disney Movie Club exclusive on Blu-ray as a 6-disc set. We don't know if there's going to be any special features. All we know is there's going to be all 65 episodes, which I think is great. I don't know if it's going to be all. I think what they're doing is they're going to be releasing the episodes they're going to put on the disc, because it's going to be 6 discs. I think they're going to be the high def remasters that they have on Disney Plus, because if it was the regular standard definition broadcast, if you will, then no doubt it would only be 2 discs. But because more than likely they're the remastered high definition ones, we're looking at 6. Well, what I'm trying to say is, because I think it is, I almost lost track of thought there. Because I think it is, because it is 6 disc, I should say. And I'm just reading some of the stuff here that comes on Super Chat. That's why I'm a little distracted. I do apologize. But the reason I think, it is going to be 6 discs is because it's going to be the high def remasters we see on Disney Plus. But yeah, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers is coming out on Blu-ray, in the next 11 days, 10 and a half days, as a Disney Movie Club exclusive. And then I think later on next month, maybe as a retail one, but we'll have to see. But again, I think the reason it's 6 disc is it's gonna be the high def remasters that are on Disney Plus, and there might be a potential possibility we could get some extra features. I'm not really sure. Frank Hill actually showed me something that was on Amazon. I don't know if it's still there, but there was a VHS that they came out with the. I don't know if it was a making of VHS. It might have been, but it featured, and it was heavily featuring on the cover, the Jets performing the Jets, as a part of it, but mainly basically the music video that the Jets did for the Rescue Angel theme song, the pop version, if you will. But yeah, they're coming on to But yeah, the series is coming on to Blu-ray. Can't wait for that. The Tangled series is also coming to Blu-ray. Goof Troop, I think, is being considered for Blu-ray. So it's going to be, so obviously 2022 is going to be a great year for some of the Disney afternoon properties and Disney Channel originals, if you will, to, get some Blu-ray love, to so to speak, in the next coming months, if you will. And speaking of Blu-ray, what I have here is a collection that I think you should get your hands on, especially if it's going to get a 4K release. And that is The Godfather, the complete restoration, signature by Frank Capra, the signature by Frank Capra, Francis Coppola, I should say, not Capra, but Francis Coppola, has a signature right here. This is the complete restoration. They came out with this. Basically. Let me see when they came out with this. Let me see. They came out with this in. Oh, I can't see well. Hold on. See on that well. Hold on. 2018. Yeah, 2018 they came out with this. And now they are going to be re-releasing for the first time as it's being advertised, they're going to be re-releasing the original Godfather movie, the one that started it all, back in theaters on February 25th, and then officially on 4K Ultra HD and digital and all that on the 22nd of March. So yeah, if you didn't get this yet, I do recommend getting this, or basically waiting until the 4K comes out in March. And I can tell you honestly, when I start working for Target and I see this, the 4K released, there's no doubt I will be getting it. But I can tell you this, you don't really have to get the 4K, because if you have a 4K television and a 4K Ultra HD player connected to it, and you have this in there, this will be played in 4K. Here's the thing, you can go onto your television, go to the option for the Blu-ray player. You can click on it, and it'll have a display on the screen depending on your television that will tell you in the middle, in the right hand or left hand corner, or right in the middle, what picture you're viewing something at, and it will tell you that you're viewing it at 4K. So basically, that's a 1080p Blu-ray, right? High definition, remastered, true HD. Well, if you put it in your 4K player on your 4K television, it will show you, because if you press the display, here it is. This is the remote to my 4K player. But if you press the display on your remote there, it will show you that what you're watching is, especially if it's Blu-ray, you're watching it at 4K 24 frames, at 4K at 24p, basically 4K Ultra HD at 24 frames per second, even though it's a 1080p 1440 Blu-ray, or 1080p 1440p Blu-ray. It'll show you that. But yeah, if you if you don't want to get the 4K and you just want to get the Blu-ray, but because even though you have, let's say, a 4K television and a Blu-ray player, you don't have to worry about that then. And you don't have to worry about getting the 4K version, because again, this will be shown in 4K because of the fact that it's upgrading the bit rate, if you will. But yeah, The Godfather, it's a great series of movies. I mean, my mom told me she saw this when it was first came out in theaters, and it's 50 years old. Can you believe the original movie that started this is 50 years old this year? And this is the year my mom, and basically 50 years this year also marks 50 years since my mom became a Christian. Yeah, 50 years. It's hard to believe. And it's hard to believe that basically, this is a series of movies that spanned 18 years. Yeah. I mean, get this. Get this. If I can get my phone again here. Without putting the light bulbs in here, it would make things a lot more brighter. But get this. So the first movie came out in 1972. The second movie, part 2, came out in 74. Part 3 came out 16 years later. So basically, you're looking at 18 years between the first movie and the third, from the first part and the third part, and between the second part and the third part, you're looking at 14 years. So yeah, one of the first rare cases of a movie, getting a sequel, but a decade and a half later, but definitely was worth the wait, because I think each film got nominated for Academy Awards of Best Picture and screenwriting and all that, I believe. Yeah, Best Picture nomination, Best Picture nomination. Yeah, each one got it. Each one got a nomination on what they wanted. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, they are coming out with the 4K. Like I said, they are re-releasing this in theaters towards the end of February, on February 25th, which I think, if I look at the calendar here, guys, which I think, oops, hit the wrong thing there. Let me see if I can find the calendar. Here it is. February 25th. It's on a Friday. So yeah, if you're looking to go out to a movie on a Friday, there's a good idea to see that, because if you have not seen The Godfather on the big screen, here's your opportunity. And I can tell you honestly, I've never seen it on the big screen. My sisters have never seen it on the big screen, mainly because of the fact that when it was first on the big screen, we weren't even born yet. We weren't even a concept, if you will. And anytime they did re-release it, we never saw it anyway, because we were too young. Yeah, we were too young. Even though my sister was like, well, yeah, she was about 17, so she'd be still too young. Well, she'd be around the right age, but still, me and my second oldest sister, we were not that ready yet for it. But it's one of those movies that even my grandfather, my mom's dad, loved. He loved that movie. He loved the series of movies. In fact, he had the movies on VHS. And I think he had the soundtrack as well on vinyl. So, so there's that, if you will. But yeah, they are releasing it, but yeah, they are re-releasing it in theaters on February 25th. My older sister liked the link that I sent everybody of the trailer for it, because it definitely tells me she might want to go see it on that day. But yeah, it is one of those rare movies that is a cinematic classic. I mean, you can't do, let's say, you can't do a tier list, period. You cannot do a tier list, period, without of all, let me put it this way: you cannot do a tier list of the all-time movie classics without this being at the top of the list, or at least one of the top slots. But yeah, it's coming out February 25th, back in theaters, and then it's going to get a release on 4K Ultra HD and digital in March. So can't wait for that. Like I said, cannot wait for that. That's going to be great, and I think it's going to get some decent showings. I think it's going to get some decent showings. And again, guys, for those now, before I move any further, like I'm trying to say, or as I was trying to say before I move any further, I want to remind anybody that's just joining us, super chats are open, and I do recommend, and you know, I do recommend if you guys do have any discussions you want me to talk about, or anything you want me to discuss here on this Shooting the Breeze Part 2, if you will, it'd be greatly appreciated if you could, bring that up in a super chat. You don't have to donate too much, like between $2 to $5. If that's the best you can do, it's better than nothing. Because, like I said, anytime I try to donate to some of the people I support through super chats, if I can't do too much, I do with what I can. So, just a recommendation, suggestion. If you guys got something you want me to talk about, I would love to see it in a super chat, and I will discuss it that way. I'm not saying I won't discuss anything else any other way, but for right now, until I financially get back on my feet with this new job of mine at Target, um, I would suggest and recommend you do it that way. It'd be greatly appreciated. Um, now, now, speaking of something, because I was surprised yesterday when I was doing my live stream talking about. Let me see if I can find it. When I was talking about not yesterday, but 2 days ago, when I was talking about how has when I basically did a live stream asking has WWE finally opened the forbidden door? Is it just for show? I got a donation. I got my first donation then, and basically they were asking me about SpongeBob and all that. And look, this is, and I told them, basically on the live stream, I've never really the thing I've never really paid attention that much of SpongeBob. Honestly, I mean, obviously, I know who he is. I know who a lot of the characters are. I know this SpongeBob, this Patrick, this Sandy, this Squidward, this Krabs. There's that pufferfish girl. There's the shark. There's the whale daughter of Krabs and all that. So I know most of these characters. I know there's that little bug guy that always tries to get the secret formula, tries to take over Bikini Bottom. So I know mostly like who these characters are, but I've never really been a fan of SpongeBob whatsoever. I mean, I've watched a little SpongeBob because there are some episodes or some moments in there that are funny and creative. In fact, like I said, one of them that I found creative and really fit in with what SpongeBob is when he started to have an identity crisis, and Sandy was the one that came up with an idea to have them kind of help him remember who he is, because he does this song and he's changing it all to, and he's basically turning into all these different personas and things, and then he just like shuts down, like his eyes and mouth just go into just absorb right into him, and then he just stands there like, I'm just a sponge now, or something like that, or he doesn't know who he is. And with, and like I said, you have Sandy basically come up with the idea for everybody to paint themselves yellow so they can remind SpongeBob who he is. But then the end result is they start having an identity crisis, because after SpongeBob figures who he is, all of a sudden you start seeing their heads and everything start to morph and everything and turn into goo, or turn into a gooey like substance and morph into basically replicas of his head. So, to me, when I look at something like that, that is a creative. That's a kind of a creative thing that does get people intrigued and interested into seeing more of that in a show like SpongeBob, because that's basically what a Nickelodeon show should be like. You know, you want it. You Nickelodeon always used to be about the, and I say this with all due respect, they always used to be about the weird and unusual, and shows and characters within the shows doing things that you wouldn't expect in any other shows and stuff. And something like that is a good example of it. And I hear there's rumors going around that along with Patrick getting his own show, that Sandy might get hers. And here's the thing about Sandy. I think Sandy Cheeks getting her own show is a great idea, because there's a lot of people that may not be a fan of SpongeBob that love certain characters out of SpongeBob, and they always point to Sandy as being one of those characters they love above all, and look at it as a character that, if she had her own show or something like that, or her own comic or whatever, people would actually gravitate to that more, because she's the more invested, she's basically the more interesting and intriguing character that you can get invested in. And I totally agree with that. I mean, honestly, if they do a Sandy Cheeks show, I would probably watch it, because here you have a character that's supposed to be tough. She's from Texas. That she has that, and I say it with all due respect, she has that Texas persona on her, which she is highly proud of. She's very smart, very scientific. So you have basically a great, total package with her, that if you apply that to her in a series based around her, then you've got gold on your hand, in my opinion. You got absolute gold. And with someone like Sandy being the focal point, you could basically do a lot with her. A lot with her that you probably couldn't do with her with the regular SpongeBob series, because the main focus is always on SpongeBob. But with Sandy, you see the potential that she has, and if you focus a series on her, with her being portrayed as being a strong girl from Texas, being proud of her Texas roots, and being scientific. Hold on for a sec. Hello. Yeah, Shannon invited me to stay for some dinner, so okay. You can get yourself something. There's food in the fridge. All right. Did you tell her about that? Yes, she didn't tell her that. Yeah. Yeah, he has to use oxygen tank. Yeah. Well, right now he's hoping just a couple of months, but it might be longer. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what he told me, but he said it might be longer. That's what he said. Yeah, he says he can't go an hour or so, sometimes. He has to have it, like he sometimes needs it. You can't right now go without an hour. He has to have it like he can't go an hour without having, using it and everything, so he can like, go outside, take the trash out and stuff. That's what he told me. Yeah. Well, she can talk to him if she ever wants to do it. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
She doesn't understand why he's married.
Hmm.
And she doesn't understand why he's not married. Yeah, she thinks they're married.
Well, if they are, well, like you said, she's starting to learn. Well, if they are, then she's starting to learn what you learned.
No, it's not that, Brian. The thing is, she's that. She's seen.
Yeah. 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 Okay. I know. Yeah. Yeah. He even admitted Stephanie gets it from him. When I told him that Stephanie wouldn't get it, wouldn't get the shot or anything, he said, yeah, she's like me, stubborn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's what he said. Okay. Yeah. I know. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay, well, I'm happy for you. I'm really, really happy that you so you can tell me all the details later.
Okay.
All right, Brian. Okay. I'll talk to you here.
All right. You do. Okay, sorry about that, guys. That was just my mom letting me know she's going to be at my sister's for a little bit, for a little while because she had to drop some things off at her house. Basically, my mom gets when they don't have many kids at the school. They usually have some extra lunches and everything left over because it all depends on how many kids are going to be there. Usually, if it's like enough, basically, if it's the right amount of kids that need to be there, she'll, she won't be bringing some lunches. But if there's not enough kids, they'll have leftovers. So she'll eat one of the lunches for lunch, and then she'll bring some home for being her to have. Or if she has a lot, a lot more than that, she'll take some to my sister's, and that's what she did. She also went over there because my great niece is being watched by my older sister, who is her grandma, because my niece and her fiance went to the casino today or this weekend for their anniversary. And it's not their wedding anniversary, not that. It is the anniversary of when they started dating. Not their engagement anniversary. That would have been back in December. It might be that too. So it's basically a combination of the engagement and when they first started dating. So something like that, if you know what I mean. Uh, but yeah, what was I? Oh yeah, SpongeBob. So yeah, I think honestly, if they do a Sandy Cheek spinoff, basically give her own show and everything, I think anybody that's not much of a fan of SpongeBob but fan of certain characters will probably be more invested and intrigued by that show, because again, you have a character there that is, you know, you have a character that is proud of where she's from, and she's very smart and she's strong, and they have numerous opportunities to do whatever they can with her character. Ivan said that. Ivan mentioned 2 days ago when the person asked me this question. Ivan brought up the fact that, hey, if they do an episode where Sandy develops something where she becomes like a slime girl or whatever, and or she has elastic powers and she could shapeshift or melt down and all that, I think that would be a great story, a great episode, or at least whether it's a short or full length episode. I think that'd be great, for a character like her, because because think about it, she'll want to know what it's like to kind of have SpongeBob like abilities. So why not, pursue that by creating a formula that gives her that ability to, elastically turn herself into whatever she wants to turn into, melt down into a puddle. I think they would have. I think her character in a story like that, in an episode like that, especially in a series focusing on her, would enjoy it. I think her character would really get a kick out of it. So even if it's temporary, I think her character would get a kick out of it. And I could see them ending it with her, let's say she, has the ability to melt. I could see it ending with her like, just deciding, to melt into a puddle and then maybe just, seep into the ground, and then all of a sudden you see this big old flower grow with, grow and everything, with Sandy's face on it, saying like, something like, "This is the only way to relax," or something like that. You know, or you could have her evaporate and then have her just be like a smiling cloud in the sky, going like, "Now this is the only way to relax," or something like that. But I could see them doing an episode like that for a with for a Sandy Cheeks show with her going through something like that experimentally, even if it's temporary, and then having it end with her either melting and seeping into the ground and growing as a going into and then popping up as a flower or seeping into the ground, and you just see her big face, her eyes and her mouth on the ground, saying, "This is the only way to relax." Or you have her melt and then you have her evaporate and then turn into a cloud. Whatever way, I think it would be, and then you see her face on the cloud saying like, "This is the only way to relax," and then that's it. Because of any of these episodes, because here's the thing, I the one thing I've noticed about SpongeBob, with the exception of some specials that they would do in the movies, the one thing about SpongeBob that I would notice is a lot of the episodes, a lot of the stories are non-canon. They are non-canon. They are basically, and that's my dog. She's just waking up from a nap. She has allergies, but she's okay. She's fine. But like I said, one thing I've noticed about the SpongeBob show is, like some of the shows identical to it at times, with the exception of specials and some of the movies, a lot of the shows, a lot of the mini episodes and all that, or even the half-hour episodes, are non-canon. In other words, they have no continuity connection to them, whatsoever. I mean, I would not be surprised if, Camp Coral, I think that's what it's called, is the same way. And I'm not going to be surprised either if Patrick Starr's show is the same way. In other words, you have all these mini episodes and everything, but they're non, canon. They don't have no connection to them. So if they did the same thing with Sandy's show and they had her do what I said, I would suggest they could do for her as a episode, as a mini episode, if you will, um, in the future, then there wouldn't be any reason to worry about, okay, or be curious about, okay, what's going to happen next, how is she going to be restored and all that, because overall it would have no consequence whatsoever in the future. It wouldn't. So honestly, I'll tell you this, I'm looking forward more to, between any of the upcoming spin-offs, I'm looking forward more to a Sandy Cheeks show than I am a Squidward show, or even whatever the heck they're going to do with the rest of the Patrick Star show. I'm looking more forward to a Sandy Cheeks show because of the potential they have there with her character. And I think honestly, if you would have if you would have asked people to rank who their favorite character is out of all of them, the top character would be Sandy. There's no doubt about it, no doubt about it whatsoever. But yeah, I'd be more inclined to enjoy a Sandy Cheeks show than I would a Patrick Star show that they're currently doing, or a Camp Coral show, or a Squidward show, or whatever. I'd be more inclined to watch a Sandy Cheeks show, and I think I'm not alone in that. So that's just my opinion. Again, guys, super chats are open. If you have anything else you want me to talk about, please super chat it to me, and I will mention it here on the live stream and give you my thoughts on it as best as I can. Again, if you can't do too much, $2 to $5 is probably the best option I would recommend utilizing. But yeah, super chats are open, guys. If you want me to really discuss things a lot further, or anything else a lot further, if you will. So, what else can we talk about here? Oh yeah, let's talk about this, guys, because I know people. First of all, when I look at the videos, even though it's been about, let me see, how many days has it been? It's been about 9 days since I talked about it. I'm sure people are always curious as to, why I talk about the fact every year, once or twice a year, maybe 3 times a year, why I always talk about, now is the time, for a female artist, a female singer, up and coming, independent, if you will, even established, to do their own Sledgehammer like video with their song and all that. And the reason I say it is because, you look at the fact that there's a lot of creativity coming out of some of these songs and music videos that, up and coming and established female singers and artists have been doing. And to me, I can't, think of any other video to pay tribute to than the 1986 Peter Gabriel Sledgehammer uh, video, if you will. I can't, I can't think of, any other, uh, like I said, any other video or any other video from the past, to pay tribute to than that one. I can't, because to me, the creativity behind that 1986 video for Sledgehammer by Peter was unbelievable. I mean, it was so inspiring, so captivating that basically in the 1987 Video Music Awards by MTV, it set the record and still holds the record for most video awards won, because of its creativity, its uniqueness. And to me, if I'm an up and coming independent female artist slash singer, and I want people to notice me, I think basically taking one of my videos and doing a music video that pays tribute to that Peter Gabriel Sledgehammer video, I believe is the best way to go. I really do. I think it's the best way to go, because one, it gets people noticing not only your vocalness with your song and how good you are, but they also would notice how maybe creative you can be when it comes to your videos, or they would notice how much you are paying tribute to those that came before you. So I think, out of the two, groups, I think an independent up and coming female artist slash singer would benefit the most out of it. And again, it doesn't have to be a recovering of the Sledgehammer song and all that. And hello to Donald D. Ed. Thank you for joining me in the live chat. Well, thank you for joining us in the live chat. But like I said, it doesn't have to be, a music video tribute with a straight up cover of the song. It could also be, their own song. It could be, their own vision, if you will, of how they would like to take their song and make it into a Sledgehammer music video that pays tribute to the original. Like I said, there's a group that did the same thing with their song called Keep Eyes on the Road. And not only did they pay tribute by paying homage to certain scenes from the Sledgehammer music video, but they also threw in some of their own creativity as well, to kind of make it make it their own. Like it pays homage, it pays tribute by recreating their own by basically doing their own recreation of scenes, like let's say the fruit face scene, the claymation scene, and all that. But they also throw in their own little moments here and there, which really helps it out. And to me, I think that's what an independent, up and coming female artist singer could do as well. Like they don't have to do a cover of the song and have a video go along with it. They could just do their own song and then come up with their own way of saying, "Hey, here's those iconic scenes, from here's these, it's like here's these iconic scenes from the Sledgehammer video, from Fruit Face to Claymation, but here's our own little spice to go along with it as well." So to me, I think of it, if they do something like that, especially if they're an up and coming independent female artist slash singer, it'll definitely get people to notice them and probably want to check out what else they bring to the table as well. And if any of you guys know of maybe one that's similar like that that's already out there from an international standpoint, let me know in the live chat or in the comments below. I would greatly appreciate it. And to anybody that's joining, like Double D Ed is recently joined. Super chats are open, and if you have anything you want me to talk about, give my thoughts on, I would highly recommend and appreciate it if you could put it in a super chat, whether it's $2 to $5, which I would recommend is the best option to go with. $2, $3, $4, $5, which is the cheapest option in my opinion. You go with that. It doesn't hurt the bank, and I would really greatly appreciate it until I get back on my feet financially with this new job that I have at Target. So if you got anything you want me to discuss, super chats are open for that to happen. Anyway, though, for anybody that's always been curious about that, that's the reason. I think, an established artist, I think it would do wonders for them too. But I think an independent, up and coming female artist slash singer would benefit from something like that a lot more than an established one. I really do. And again, guys, if you know of anyone that's already done something like that recently or so, from an international standpoint or independent standpoint, let me know in the live chat as well as in the comments below. What else to talk about? Hold on. What else to talk about? Oh, I want to show you this. Now, for some reason, I know that Hasbro, by extension, owns the rights to these characters, and I know from a distributing standpoint, Paramount owns the rights to this movie, but they need to work something out with Warner Brothers, because I think if there's any movie that deserves at least a DVD release, officially for the first time, it's got to be this one, GoBots Battle of the Rock Lords. And the reason I say that, and this is a burn version of the movie, as you can see there, the reason I say this is because it's one of those films that is yet to fully get, and something is loading, I don't know what that was, but like I said, it's one of those things that is yet to fully get, in my opinion, the treatment of of a official DVD release or Blu-ray release. And the reason for that is because Paramount were the ones that distributed this in theaters. And because of that, Paramount owns the rights to distributing it in any other format. The last time they distributed it, of course, was back when it came out on VHS, about, I'd say, several months later or so. So I think the time is now, honestly, because believe it or not, this would be the 35th, I believe. I think this is the 35th anniversary, if you will. I think this is the 35th anniversary, if you will, of the movie. I think it is. Hold on, let me check again with my phone, because if I go on here, I might lag this. I don't want to do it or do that. But let me check here, guys, just in case. Let me check. When did GoBots Battle of the Rock Lords come out?
In the United States of America, GoBots, Battle of the Rock Lords came out on March 21st, 1986.
Okay, so last year was the 35th anniversary. I don't know if you guys could see that. It's a little bright. There we go. But yeah, that's when it came out right there. So last year would have been the 35th anniversary. But a lot of people like myself look at this year as being, 1987 as being the year it came out. So they might have re-released it. I don't really know. But or that might have been when they put it on VHS. But still, I think the time is right for them to at least give it an official DVD release, at least to for people to enjoy. And if Hasbro is partnered with Paramount, then hey, it's a win-win situation. They could just get Paramount to release it. But then again, like I said, it was animated by Hanna-Barbera, and Hanna-Barbera is owned by Warner Brothers, so it's complicated. But but hey, maybe they might do it. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I think GoBots Battle of the Rock Lords at least deserves an official DVD release, or at least maybe a digital release at most. And again, guys, super chats are open. You have anything on your mind that you want me to talk about, give my opinions on, and discuss. And it's a shoot the breeze live stream. Drop it in there with a super chat. Um, I would recommend, if you can't do too much, to do between $2 to $5. Two, three, four, five. It's not going to break the bank, and I would highly appreciate it, especially with the fact that I will not be starting work until at least next week, at the latest. At Target, that is. So if you guys want to do that, I'd greatly appreciate it. Again, super chats are open. You got anything you want me to discuss? Drop me a super chat on it, whether it's $2, $3, $4, $5, whatever you can afford. It between those amounts that are not going to break the bank, I would greatly appreciate it. I already have one donation today by Gadget the Mouse. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. Anyway, what else to discuss here? What else to discuss on this Friday night? And if you're wondering, why I've gotten up, and why you haven't heard any more voices except for maybe the ones you heard on the phone, because like I said, my mom's going to be staying a little longer with my older sisters because she invited her for dinner, and like I said, my great niece is being watched by my older sister, her grandma, where her mom and her fiance are out on their anniversary right now at a casino in the mountains, and it's their dating / engagement anniversary, if you will. But what else to talk about? What else to talk about here? Well, I don't really know. I mean, do you guys? Again, super chats are open, guys. If you got anything you want me to talk about, I would really appreciate a super chat on something I could talk about here. Well, I will say this, because I was talking about it in a live stream yesterday, and some people, when I linked it over on the Facebook group pages, were surprised to hear about it. Everybody, because we know that next month Discotech Media is releasing Adventures of Sonic on Blu-ray, and through various sources that got in contact with them, Adventures is not the only Sonic property they're going to be working on in the near future. I think and believe that the next one they're going to announce with the next quarterly announcement in the next few months, which would be about April, if you will, because they did a quarterly announcement last month, and that was to address the next 4 months forward, which is January, February, March, April. I think the next one they do for quarterly special of announcements will be April, if not sooner. And I think in that next announcement, they're going to officially say that Sonic Sat AM and maybe Underground are coming to SD on BD, which is short for standard definition on Blu-ray, in the near future, to coincide with Adventures, and also to coincide with the release of the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie, which is coming out in April, which I will be seeing in theaters, hopefully. The work schedule behind. And let's see. Gadget in the Mouse says, bit behind with the vid, catching up. Glad you liked the super chat. Unicorn. It's rarity. It's rarity, from MLP. And she says, I have the gadget toy. I have that gadget too, which is the toy I showed her, but got her on display with my hot toys. And hot toys, in case you guys are wondering, are basically display toys. Like, let's say, what I have right over here, with this. These are little statues, Kashidobo, whatever they're called, statues that they've been releasing. These are statues that they've been releasing. Like here, if I can get her, this is one of them that I have. This is the Applejack one that I have. And then I have Twilight right here. I have Twilight. And these were basically inspired, I think, by, well, of course, by Equestria Girls and MLP and the My Little Pony. So, and then this was the more recent one they brought out before they brought out Celestia and then Luna, which came out at the end of last month and the beginning of this year, or going to be around this year. This was the more recent one they did, Sunset Shimmer, which everybody was looking forward to. And I said to myself, I've got to get that as well. And I did. And then this I got basically when they were promoting the movie. I got to clean it up a little bit. They were promoting the movie Dark Side of the Dimensions. I got this Dark Magician Girl. And what's funny is when I had her in the closet, I had her displayed in the closet because I couldn't find a place to put her elsewhere. I ended up losing this, on the ground. This fell on the ground. Her little wand here fell on the ground. And then when I tried to put her up here next to my Rodimus, hot rod, if you will, the wand fell into the back of fell behind the dresser. So I had to get it. So I had to finally reach behind there the other day and get it. And then I decided, you know what, instead of displaying her there, I'm going to display her right here next to Sunset Shimmer and the rest of the girls. So yeah, I have her, if you will, as well as I have these behind me. As you could tell, let me kind of move a little bit. I have these behind me. The ones in the back, if you will, most of them, except for Twilight, most of them are from what's called Olay Factory. But they're done so well, except for, I think, Celestia. They're done so well that it feels like they could be official. Like Sunset right there, straight up is a great Sunset plush, if you will, to have in your collection. And then speaking of plushes, I know I've shown this before, but I don't know if I showed it live on camera. Right here, I don't know if you can see her. See that brown? You see what I'm pointing at right here? That is my Princess Sally plush. That's right. That's an official Sega plush from Sonic Live in Sydney, Australia. And as I've mentioned on several occasions, I ended up getting it off eBay for around $250-something. And if anybody is curious, no, she is not for sale. And I keep telling people that all the time. She is not for sale due to the fact that I spent $250 on her. You think I'm going to sell her? I don't think so. I do not think so. I mean, would you? Would you if you spent hundreds of dollars on something that's rare? Would you? I don't think so. And I'm not going to do that either. I've had her. This year will mark 15 years since I've had her. 15 years, and that's a long time. That's a long time. But yeah, I was happy to get her. I mean, basically, I was working at the Walmart in Lawrence, Kansas, and I had just gotten paid, I think. And after I took care of some bills, I was like, okay, I have money here. I want to get this because I noticed somebody, I think, told me it was on eBay, and I wanted to get it. So it was almost at the last second that I got it. Thank the Lord. and she's part of the collection. If you know what I mean. But it's one of those instances, like the timing was perfect. The timing was perfect and everything. So I was just glad to get her, just really glad to get her and all that. Um, but yeah, I've had her for about 15 years now. 15 years, hard to believe. It's gonna be 15 years. And I got her when I was still living in Kansas. So this this plush here, this Sally plush, has been with me since I lived in Kansas. That's how long she's been around. And anytime I would tell somebody in my family that's how much I paid, they'd be looking at me like, "Are you out of your mind?" It's like the reaction would be like, "Are you kidding me?" I'll be like, "Nope," because it's a rare thing. You don't see that officially around the U.S. and all that. You don't. And speaking of things that, if you have the money, you could get your hands on, I also ended up getting this in the past year, and I showed this off already. Look at this. Thundercat cosplay sword. Look at that. Look how long that is. Pretty cool, huh? And look how it's designed on the top. It's pretty nice. It's got a little thing here that you could put over your back and all that if you want to carry it around. And it's got a little button here, in case you guys are wondering. It's got a little button here, where if you turn it on, look at that. It doesn't shine too much on the back, but mostly on the front it does. And I was glad to get this. Really glad. I was really glad to get that. But yeah, again, like I said, it shows. But again, it's one of those situations where if you got the money to get something like that, go ahead and do it. And that's what I did. That's what I did. But yeah, that's one of those instances, along with the Sally plush, where basically I had the money to get it, and I did. I ended up getting it, and I'm happy I did. Because now, if I have something in the future to display, put it, hang it up and everything and display, I will do that. I will do that. And if you want a good example of somebody that has something like that on display, Animat, Matt Burnett, I think, has a sword that he has basically in the handles of one of his dressers. Like one of his dressers is, has one of those. Basically the dressers don't have the handles like what these have. It's one of those open handles where it's like you pull it, and it's got like just a through part, a little hole in the middle. He's got a sword that goes right through that, for the display. So that's so that's unique. And I saw that, and I'm like, I want to get some kind of sword like that, cosplay or whatever. I want to get something like that, and I got it. Eventually got it. And another person that got sort of a sword cosplay or real was Rob Thomas, aka Bob Show. He ended up getting one as well. Somebody sent that to him, and he was like, "Holy crap!" He couldn't believe it. So yeah, those are instances, the Sally plush and the sword there, that are rare items you could get and everything. And I was just happy to get them. Again, guys, for any of you joining in late on the super chat, live chat, super chats are open. If you got anything you want me to talk about, recommend you try using the super chat option to bring up anything you would like me to give my thoughts on. I really appreciate it. I am going to be working soon, but right now this would help me out financially. Really appreciate it. If you can't afford much, as I've mentioned already throughout this live stream, between $2, $3, $4, and $5, I think I would be appreciative of that, because I don't think it would break the bank whatsoever. If you could do that, it'd be really appreciative, especially if you got something you want me to talk about. Anyway, though, guys. Yeah, those are just some of the things that I have. Um, you know, just just to let you guys see them and everything. Um, I do have a display of belts here, the championship belts. Not not replica belts like the ones they would sell for three something 100 for like $100 to $300, but mainly the toy ones you can get for about $20. And of course, one of the more recent ones I got is the AEW title, which I really enjoy having because it's something different to have. I also have an NWA toy belt. It's in my drawer here, but I'm not going to get it out. But it's one of those NWA belts that they sell at at events. Like the NWA related events and all that, like NWA Midwest, NWA CSW stuff like that. They would sell it. So that's why I got the one I have in there, which has like which basically it's basically a toy belt that in the middle when you lift up the face plate, it has a little ring under it. So and it would come with a little figurine. So that's the one I have. That's the one I have. Um, but yeah, I have, like I said, I have those two belts, and of course, have the replica belts of the WWE Championship, if you will. Have that. As well as I have the Universal Championship toy replica. This is the this is the like I said, this is the Universal Championship when it was on Raw. I still got to get the blue one though, and hopefully maybe soon I'll get that. My goal basically is to get an actual replica one, basically one that's identical to what you see on television. Um, but yeah, that's one of the things I got. Um, the other things that I do have, and again, this is just a shoot the breeze kind of deal, guys. As I've mentioned, I do have the Funko MLPs. I just want to show you guys these. These are not the mini ones, although I do have those. But those are displayed in the closet on some of the shelves. These are the Funko ones that they brought out. This is one of the first ones I got. This is Celestia. I was actually happy to get her, and you can tell it's official. But I ended up getting her, which was really great. But one of the first ones I ended up getting between the princesses, of course, and she's a little dusty, and I do apologize for that. Gotta clean her a little bit. Hold on while I go get the duster, and that'll help out. There we go. Helped out a little bit. Here we have Princess Luna. Now, what was interesting when I got Luna, I think it might have been, it was this wing right here. This wing kind of broke off a little bit, so I had to glue it back on. And so far, it's been all right. But yeah, basically, I got her. And I was hoping to get the Luna that was always being displayed, like the regular one. And it looked like that was the one I was going to get. And then I got this, and I'm thinking, what is this? And yeah, it is officially licensed. But what it is, it's a translucent one. And obviously, I found out when I got this that they have variants. They have different variants versions of these figures. And mainly the variant versions are translucent. Because I did see that they have on sale somewhere a variant translucent version of Rarity. So this is the Luna one, which I'm still happy to have. It's still, it's still a figure and everything. And then, of course, to round out the royal princesses, or the most royal of princesses, as Twilight put it in the movie, I have Cadence. So, yeah, I ended up getting her. Basically, I went on a Funko rampage, if you will, when it came to collecting, some of these. I went on a Funko rampage when it came to these. And of course, with some figures, of course, I ended up getting like the Guardian figures, like with Celestia, I got the Guardians of Harmony figure on her. I got the Sunset Trixie figure as well. I did a room tour, so if you guys want to check out the room tour, it's on my channel here. You guys could check that out. But yeah, I did all that, and I was really appreciative. I was really not appreciative, but I was really happy of the fact that I was able to get some of those things when I did. I mean, when they talked about the, let me see if I can get it without any problem here. I might have a issue. Wait, I got there it is. Oh, it's got to be dusted too. But yeah, I ended up getting this. When this got announced, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I got to get that. I got to get that figure." Mainly because it's two very popular characters. That being, you know, Trixie and Starlight. So, yeah, I was really happy to get them when I did. As a matter of fact, I should dust it off a little bit. Now I'm looking at it. Yeah. No, dusting goes a long way. You can see a little dusting goes a long way. Sorry for the lag there, guys. If you saw a lag. But yeah, a little dusting goes a long way. Like I said, I got this when it came out. Like I said, it was one of the more anticipated and sought after ones when they made the announcement. I also got the DJ Pone one, and then of course got this when the movie came out as well. So just really nice and everything. So yeah, these are basically, I would say, what Gadget Mouse said here on the live chat. These could be considered like hot toys because they're not for like play or anything. They're mostly for display, and that's what a lot of these are. They're mainly meant for display and everything. Like over here, I have Emma Frost and I have Rogue. Those are collectibles. Those are hot toy collectibles. And then in my closet, I have a Jean Grey and I have an X-23 figure as well. Um, I've got, like I said, a Jean Grey and the X-23 Plony and Rogue. Well, Jean Grey is Phoenix, I believe. Jean Grey is Phoenix and Rogue, if you will. Matter of fact, let me see if I can do something here for a second. Yeah, maybe not. I'd have to move a lot of stuff here, but trust me when I say in here is a lot of the the Jean Grey and the Jean Grey Phoenix one. It's the Jean Grey. Uh, there we go. Had to move there a little bit. It's the Jean Grey Phoenix figure and the X-23 figure as well. I probably have to bring those out eventually to display them, but I got to put something back in return. And I think I can probably picture around here, visualize around here what that something or some things could be potentially that would go in the closet. But we'll see over time. What they could be. But yeah, I do have those as well. And speaking of which, well, that didn't help, did it? You have to get that probably after the stream is over. But just to let you know, I do have, and I don't know what happened here. I don't know what's going on. Oh. Thing probably loading, guys. Hold on. Yeah, it's loading. Hold on. I do apologize for the delay if you guys can hear me. And it's doing something. I don't know what happened here. Man, it's doing. Yeah, I guess it is working. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Well, apparently my screen kind of froze up a little, guys. What it is that my screen's loading is what it's doing, or my computer is deciding it's load time, if you will. Don't you just hate that? It's like it's loading something. I don't know what it's loading. It looks like it's trying to load something. I don't know what. I do apologize for that, guys. If you. And now it's my dog again. Yeah, it's the I was loading something on my computer. I don't know what it was loading. Yeah, I don't know what that was. It just decided, hey, because everything was fine here. Everything was fine from what you guys could tell, but my computer just decided, hey, hold on, guys, I'm going to do updates, even though I have the updates paused till Monday. It's like, come on, seriously, just say you're doing a virus scan or you're doing something else and we'll be fine. I don't know why it did that. It's so weird. It's like it just suddenly decided, hey, I'm going to do this now. But anyway, like I was trying to show you before I got a little worried there, a little concerned. I got this for my job. This was a Walmart exclusive, and it came with a bottle, as you guys can see. This was the movie. It did come with the digital code, but the problem was the digital code was only meant for Voodoo, if you will. It wasn't meant for Amazon or anything. Unless I try it again and on Movies Anywhere and see what happens. But yeah, I ended up getting that. Well, we can just fit it back in here. Just fit it back in here. And I'll put this the other way around so I don't lose any discs. And then, of course, I got the movie again, but I got it to the 30th anniversary, 35th anniversary version. So I got 2 copies on Blu-ray. And then, of course, I have all first 7 seasons. I can. There we go. Like I said, I have all 7 seasons officially on DVD. Basically, the ones that Shout Factory released. I got all 7 seasons that were released on DVD, along with Holiday Hearts, Trick or Treat, and Adventures in the Crystal Empire on DVD. Season 8 and 9 I do have on DVD, but I had to, long story short, I had to DVR those episodes. And then after I DVR'd them, I put them onto DVD because I have a Sony DVD recorder, which is the third, actually not third, but the 5th DVD recorder I've had. The first 3 I had were Apex. One didn't even last me a week. And then I got another one last me a couple of months. And then the other one I got last me at least a year or 2. And then afterwards I got an ILO, an ILO play, DVD recorder, which worked for a while. Worked until I got up over here, and in about 2009, I decided to finally conk out because what was happening is I was noticing that what was happening is I was noticing basically that I couldn't record normally like I used to. And I had to record a lot of the programming or stuff I wanted to record in one single day, and that just didn't work out. So eventually my mom got me a Sony DVD recorder for my birthday, an early birthday gift. And I was just happy to have that. And we have it in the living room right now. So that way, if there's anything on there that I want to record, I can record that, down the line. And that's what I did with Best Gift Ever. That's what I did with Rainbow Road Trip. That's what I did with the Forgotten Friendship, Roller Coaster of Friendship, Equestria Goals Holiday Special, stuff like that, as well as season 8 and 9 of MLP, animation wise. That's how I did it right there. But like I mentioned earlier to somebody that asked the question, do I think we're going to see the entire series on Blu-ray? I do. I really do. I just think it takes time. I think over time, they're going to consider doing it because one, and I do apologize for any lag. Basically, this was loading. I don't know what it was loading I don't know if it wanted me to do the McAfee deal or what, but the McAfee thing's expired, so I don't know what it was doing. Uh, but anyway, like I said, I recorded all of those through, after DVRing them, I put them onto DVD, and that was it. The way I did it, though, was interesting because I had learned in the past that if you record some of the episodes and you keep the commercials in there, it's fine, but it takes up a lot of space. You take out the commercials, you save a little bit more space, you get some more episodes on there, and that's what I did. So I took my time, and I took my time in doing season 9 more correctly than I did with season 8. But I was just glad to finally, get them all on DVD because, you know, you never know what's going to happen in the future. You know what I'm saying? And I do apologize for the lag again, guys, because apparently this wants to load. It's loading something. I don't know what it was loading, but it's trying to load something. So I don't know what was going on there. It's probably other people on the internet too. So they're like saying, "Well, let me on the internet. No, let me on the internet. No, let me on the internet." You know, and that's one thing I think any future laptop or PC with Windows 10 or mostly now Windows 11 or the latest version of Mac or Apple or whatever needs to do, or Mac or Linux, I should say, needs to do. They need to basically tell, um, they basically need to tell or not tell, but they need to put in a notification deal telling the user of said PC or said laptop or whatever or Chromebook that, hey, we're going to be doing this at this certain time, so you might not want to do anything at that time because we're going to be doing virus scan or update or whatever. So that way the person doesn't do anything. They just say, okay, go do your thing. So I do apologize for the lag. Again, I don't know what happened there. That is so weird. My guess is, they were doing a virus scan or something, or they were loading or they were doing the security update deal, which is an update that, unfortunately, like the regular monthly updates, you can't really pause because it's a daily update. Anyway, though, and again, I do apologize for the lag, guys. I don't know why it's doing that now. Again, my assumption is other people are probably on the internet around the area, so it's kind of interfering. Uh, Now, let's talk about some other stuff here. Again, super chats are open, guys. If you got anything else you want me to discuss, or you feel I could give my opinion on, or hear my opinion on, I should say, I would recommend doing a super chat. $2, $3, $4, $5. It's not much, in my opinion. It won't break the bank if you want to do it. Like if you want to, donate, because to me that would be the best option financially to help me out in the long run. Because like I said, I do it for other YouTubers out there. Because even though I would love to give them a lot more, and I've done that in the past as much when I could, or when I could. Mostly it's been very low. It's been lower than that. So if you guys can just do like $2 to $3 to $4 to $5, that'd be great. And if you want to basically, like I said, you hear my opinion on things that you might want me to discuss, that'd be one way, if not the best way to do it. But let's talk about something that, since we have Miss Gadget the Mouse, in the live chat, let's talk about one of the best episodes in Rescue Rangers that I feel, doesn't get a lot of love. And again, I do apologize for the lag. That doesn't, well, it does get a lot of love, and it's considered one of the best. And when I did basically a top 10 DVD situation, which I now have it in this drawer here, well, not just, but in this ottoman where you see my alarm is, it's in that ottoman right now. Let's talk about what I consider the best episode out of Rescue Rangers, besides episodes like Good Times, Bad Times, and such. Case of the Cola Colt and all that. To me, one of the best episodes out there has to be Double O Chipmunk. Because when I look at Double O Chipmunk, as I've said before, I look at an episode that is chock full of first. It is chock full of first. One, it's the first time that we see the Rescue Rangers outside of what I consider the comfort zone. It's the first time we see it. And it's not, and the reason it's the first time that we see it is it's not done in a way where they're forced out of the comfort zone, like in the case of stage blight. But instead, it's willingness. It's more of a willing, get out of your comfort zone, do something different kind of deal. Um, for example, with Double O Chipmunk, we and the reason it is one of those kind of episodes is because it's also the first time that we see Dale show an intelligent side outside of his goofiness and his goofy, his goofiness, if you will, his goofy comic book movie loving side. We see a more creative side. We see a more inventive side. We see more of a brainiac and intelligent side come out when he decides to soup up one of his own tuxedos so he could try to be like the super spy in the movie he saw earlier, Dirk Suave. We get to see that side of him come out where he shows he can be intelligent, he can be creative, he can be innovative and all that, by, like I said, souping up, his one of his own tuxedos, with all this spy stuff like smoking cufflinks, a helicopter, a bow tie camera. And what's interesting about it is, out of all the characters, the one that's the most impressed and the one that understands him probably the most of where he's coming from is Gadget. I mean, the fact that when he takes off, when he shows off the propeller part, the helicopter part on his on his uh, on his tuxedo, and he goes right into the ceiling, and you look and you see from his point of view looking down and see the other characters, Chip's a little surprised, like he's a little impressed, but Gadget, her impressness, if you will, her impressness smile is wider than Chip's. Like Chip has that surprised impressness kind of look to him. It looks like a smile, but Gadget's like almost 10 miles wide, longer than that. And the fact that she's, like I said, willing to help him out. She's willing to help him out and everything. I mean, the fact that she cries in a little bit, a bit when she picks up his suit and says, "Hey, if he wants to be a spy, I'm going to help him." And then, boy, does she help him. I mean, seriously, does she help him? Whew. I tell you, if Disney, I'll put it this way, if Disney was, trying to tell us something about, hey, this is the character that Gadget's going to be with, then I'll say this: they did a heck of a job. I mean, for her to go all the way that she did, and for her to convince the others to join along with her, it really shows you that she truly cares about Dale and kind of understands where he's coming from. I mean, the fact that she went as far as she did to dress herself up into a femme fatale, Jessica Rabbit-like character, to the point that when she was done playing her role, she ends up, I guess as she puts it, doing the one thing female femme fatale spies do, and that's kiss Dale on the lips. That's giving Dale the first kiss, from her in the series. Again, if you're not telling us, if you're not hinting at, hey, we're considering Dale being the one that, she goes with, I don't know who else you're kidding. I don't know who else you're trying to fool. But because again, when I look at this episode, it's just chock full of things. It's just chock full of firsts there. And I love it. And I consider it one of the best, if not the best episode out of the series. And I don't think I'm alone in that. And here's the thing. It inspired, in my opinion, them to continue this on in other episodes or in other series, in episodes of other series is what I'm trying to say. It inspired them to do this in other episodes and other series, if you will. For example, Tailspin bringing down Babyface. To me, that episode, at least the concept, throughout it, in my opinion, as I'm just hearing something. Apparently, it's still loading. That's why you're getting a bit of a lag here, guys, or at least I am. basically bringing down babyface. That whole concept, for most of it, I think, was inspired by Double O Chipmunk, as well as I guess, as you could say, the um, the pseudo sequel known as Mind Your Cheese and Q's, because we kind of had a similar situation towards the end of that one. Well, with the characters besides Monterey Jack going out of the comfort zone. But like I said, bringing down babyface, in my opinion, it wouldn't have come to be if we didn't get Double O Chipmunk. And then the same thing with the puppy love episode, especially towards the end with what Peg did there to help her son out and everything. Again, none of this would have happened, if, in my opinion, if they didn't go with what they did with Double O Chipmunk, because they could have done. Apparently, we're getting another load. Apparently, doing another load here. I don't know what it's doing, honestly. Um, apparently, it's doing something. Again, I think it's trying to do an update or something. You're probably okay on your end, but on my end, it's mostly like, oh, there it is. Now it's working. This I was about to check. Again, I think what's going on is this is trying to do a virus update, or trying to do a virus scan or something, or an update period, and it can't, or something. I don't really know. And again, it might be the fact that other people around here are on the internet and it's interfering. So I do apologize if you guys are getting any lag. I know I'm getting lag with the image at times. So yeah, I do apologize for that. Yeah, I'm just checking something here, making sure. But like I said, to me, those ideas for those episodes wouldn't have come to be if we didn't get what we did with Double O Chipmunk. I think, to me, Double O Chipmunk set the standard to do it. I really do. Um, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. You know, here's the thing. Could could we? Here's the thing. Could a show like MLP have done the same thing? Absolutely, absolutely. You know, and I think they could have done the same thing with Spike. Spike was always at the beginning kind of portrayed very similar, but then you start to get more episodes discovering more about him and stuff. Not just in like the second and third season and everything, but mostly later on. Like with the Power Ponies and stuff. I think if they would have taken the concept similar to Power Ponies, where Spike maybe was getting into Shadow Spade, which was, a heroine that Rarity would read about in these mystery novels, or no novellas, mystery novellas, or whatever they were called. I think honestly, in my opinion, if they would have done something like that with Spike, you know, with him trying to act like a spy and all that, and try to live out his dream, and then maybe you have Twilight be like, you know what, we should help him out, and like maybe his birthday's coming up, and maybe for a birthday gift, they're like, let's help Spike out, let's make his dream come true, and go along with what, and go in that directive. I think it would have worked. I think people would have enjoyed it. I mean, honestly, honestly, you could have done a lot with it. You know, for example, you don't have to, make it too predictable. Like, to me, the best thing they could do is they could have, instead of Rarity, which would have made it too predictable, as the femme fatale role, if they wanted to do this kind of a thing, they could have had Applejack. Yeah, they could have had Applejack. They could have had Rainbow, but I probably would have gone with Applejack, because if you would have gone with Applejack, that would have basically been telling the Apple Spike fans, if you will, that hey, we hear you, we see you. Here's a little something for you, and I think it would have been great. I think it would have been great for them to do something like that, if you will. I think it would have been great for them to do something like that. Mainly for the fact that, like I said, it would have showed that hey, it would have had them showing the fans, hey, we see you, we hear you. Because again, if you put Rarity in that position, it becomes too predictable. It becomes too obvious. It becomes too predictable. even for Spike from a storyline perspective, because he would know, oh, it's Rarity. She's trying to play a femme fatale. Why not just have her play a different role, or have her do something behind the scenes, and then have the others or certain members of the main six or main seven help out in that department? I mean, satisfy the Star Spike fans or the Spike Light fans, if you will. Whatever the case is, I think they could have done a great job. With the episode, with an episode concept like that for any of the episodes. Um, in the show. Period. I mean, if Rarity Investigates is any indication of what they could have done with something like that, and you put Spike in that role, and he's trying to be emulated being a spy, and you're like, okay, let's do this, and you have certain characters playing the roles, or other characters are helping behind the scenes. I think would have been great. I think it would have been great and all that. And again, I do apologize for any lag, guys, that you're probably noticing, if you are. At least I am, like I said, because apparently my computer decided I'm going to update now. you know, um, but yeah, to me, when I look at a concept like that, I think something like MLP could have really worked well with it. Heck, honestly, I think even in the comic perspective, you could have done it with the Archie Sonic, if you will, for a character like Tails, especially earlier on or in the middle or whatever. You could have done it with him, and you could have made Sally the femme fatale, and she could have attracted Tails and all that. But then I know that probably would have given off bad vibes. But still, you take a look at issue 51 or issue 52, and Sonic ending up in that alternate dimension because of that little uh, tuxedo, smooth criminal like outfit. You see him ending up in in that dimension. It's like, come on, if they could do that there, then they could do something similar with Tails probably being in that role of, hey, I want to emulate being a spy, and then you could have like characters like Sally and Bunny, or Antoine kind of help out in those areas, if you know what I mean. But I think a story concept like that would really, really help out in the end. And again, I do apologize for any lag, guys, that you might be seeing here. Again, my computer is deciding it wants to load. It's almost like it's trying to tell me stop, let me load kind of deal. But it's fine. If you guys can still see me correctly, it's fine. I think it's just trying to say it needs to load or it needs to do something. I think it's trying to do an update. It's trying to load the update, but it can't, Um, but yeah, that kind of an idea I think would work out perfectly. And I think people would be fine with it. I think they would be totally cool with it, in my opinion. They'd be totally cool with it in the long run. But to me, it's one of those situations to where I think when you get down to it, you know, when you get down to it, Double O Chipmunk, like I said, is, I believe, what inspired the idea for what happened, what we saw mostly throughout bringing down Babyface from Tailspin, and then basically towards the end of what we got in Puppy Love from Goof Troop. It inspired those moments. I don't think anybody can deny that. I don't think anybody can deny that, in my opinion, which is why I think which I believe makes it one of the best episodes in the history of, if not the best episode in the history of Rescue Rangers, period. And speaking of Rescue Rangers, we know that they got the Disney Plus movie coming out in the next couple of months. Hopefully, we'll get a trailer soon on that. And apparently, it's supposed to be, but years after. So we'll see how they work around that, and how things go from there. See how things go from there, if you will. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that movie when it comes out. I can't wait for it. So, what else can we do? Oh yeah, let's talk about this one, because I mentioned the fact that I have the figure in the closet somewhere, in the closet up here somewhere. I'll have to get it out later to display it. Let's talk about I would consider one of the best adaptations, animation-wise, of any novelization or comic book story arc period that we've ever gotten. And that is the 1990s X-Men animated series. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that because because the thing is with the X-Men 1990s series, which is making a comeback under the title X-Men 97, they already have kind of they got a logo, of course, which says X-Men and 97 underneath, and they have pretty much they have the characters displayed on how they're going to look. There are some slight changes, not much. You have Rogue. She looks a little younger, apparently. Her hair's a little shorter too. Jean, not Jean, but Jubilee is a little bit more matching with her ethnicity, if you will, her American Chinese background, her ethnicity, her American Chinese uh, ethic, if you will, ethnicity, if you will. She's matching up more with that. And there are a few other slight changes as well. It looks like my leg, well, just as I was about to say that the leg comes back. But yeah, obviously just, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, like I said, they showed what the characters are going to look like. I said there's slight changes here and there to kind of show maybe a year or so has passed or something like that, and time has passed and everything. So that's pretty good that they're doing that. And normally when you have a show coming back for a soft reboot continuation or a new season, sometimes you're going to have a character have their design changed. I mean, a good example, like I said, like I think anybody knows of, being a Sonic fan, would be Sally. I mean, Sally was a big change, if you will, from season 1 to season 2. Season 1 as well, if you catch my drift. But yeah, let's talk about X-Men 1994 and the Phoenix Saga. And I'm going to tell you guys this. When they did the season premiere for X-Men, Fox did it the right way. They took the first 2 episodes and they put it in prime time along with the three-week primetime premiere, season 2 premiere, that is, of Power Rangers. To me, they did a great job, promoting both shows, but mostly did a great job with promoting X-Men, if you will. And it was because that they promoted this that people got hyped for what was teased at the end of the Out of the Past second parter. Because when Jubilee asked Professor X if it's over, and Xavier says he wished it was true, and then explains what he saw when he touched the ship and everything, and then he says, I believe our problems are just beginning, and it zooms up into space, if you will, and you see this fire eclipse, and you see this fire outline the Earth, and then you see the coming soon, or you see the coming soon first, I should say. You see the words coming soon zooming in, and then you see this fire, outlining the Earth, and then all of a sudden you see right after that it says coming soon, the Phoenix Saga. To me, I can't think of a better way to promote and get people hyped for it. And I'll be honest, the Phoenix Saga, when they did it, I thought was one of the best ones. I thought it was one of the best adaptations that they did. I know a lot of people would say it was a lot better than what the live action ones did. Period. And to me, I can't disagree with them because it is one of the best adaptations. Yeah, they edited it down. I mean, yeah, there were some things that they changed up and edited, down, or they did not keep in or anything, because at the end of the day, it was a children's Saturday morning cartoon. But for what they did, honestly, they did a tremendous job. They did a tremendous job, in my opinion. And the follow-up that they did afterwards, the sequel, the Dark Phoenix one, even better. Even better. Well, okay, I wouldn't say even better, but I would say it was on the same par. Even though it was one episode short because the Phoenix Saga was 5 parts and Dark Phoenix was 4, still they did a tremendous job with it, in my opinion. Tremendous job. On both fronts, did a tremendous job because it again, you couldn't ask for better adaptation at that time or even now. And it's one of the reasons that I guarantee you when people saw the Phoenix, the X-Men Last Stand, which was the Phoenix story, and then they saw X-Men, uh, the X-Men Dark Phoenix. There's no doubt that this is why a lot of people, after watching those, went home and and I think this was just around when Disney Plus came out or a little before. Went home and basically dug into the closets or wherever they have the DVDs at, and basically rewatched the Phoenix Saga and the Dark Phoenix Saga from the animated series because they felt and believed, and they have a right to, that those were the better adaptations, and they were, and even Bryan Singer and Fox and Marvel to an extent knew that they screwed up with those live action adaptations to the point. Well, at least they knew they screwed up with the first adaptation, to the point that when they did Days of Future Past and they had it end the way it did, and you see Jean's alive, you see Cyclops alive, you see that basically that's their way of saying, oopsie, our bad, here, we're going to fix it for you. And they did. So, you could tell that even they were like kind of upset at the fact that they screwed it up, if you know what I mean. And, honestly, you can't blame anybody for feeling the way they did when they saw that, all those adaptations. I think some people would say that the Dark Phoenix one that they did later on is a better adaptation. Not much, especially with all the craziness it went through. But still, if you ask them what is the best adaptation of the story period, they're going to come out and say the animated versions from the original 90s series. And they would not be wrong. They would not be wrong, period. So, so to me, when I look at the Phoenix Saga from the 1990s animated X-Men series from the third season, I can't think of any better, adaptation. I mean, Universal, even when they had the rights to distributing the series, they released basically on VHS, and then later on DVD, both Dark Phoenix and Phoenix Saga as individual movies, which was a smart move in my opinion, especially if you're trying to help promote one adaptation of it that didn't turn out to be such a great adaptation, period. But to me, I thought both were good. And again, the first adaptation of just the Phoenix Saga I thought was tremendously well done, and the sequel was just as good and on par, if not at times better, but on par. And again, I think the one thing that held it back was the fact that it was short by one episode, and that was about it. But I'll tell you this. Speaking of showing things in prime time to help promote something or get people invested in it, I've always stuck with the idea that when you look at season 2 of Sonic.am, you had 2 opportunities to do that: Blast of the Past Part 1 and 2, and the final 4 episodes of season 2. You had those opportunities in front of you, and you didn't take advantage of them. I mean, Blast of the Past Part 1 and 2 is a mini movie. It's a 1-hour special. I thought would be great. And I do apologize, like I said, for any lag you might see going forward. But to me, I look at Blast of the Past Part 1 and 2, and how can you mess up, or how can you miss out on doing that as a special, as a primetime special, especially, let's say, what I consider the true season premiere for season 2. Not Game Guy or anything, or Sonic Conversion. Blast of the Past 1 and 2 to me is the season premiere. Just the way it's set up and everything, it is the season premiere. But I'm guessing production-wise, they couldn't get it out on time. But if they could, I think that would have been a great. I think putting it in prime time would have been a great move, because if you're hearing that your competition, your rival networks are doing something similar or doing something like that with their shows, their kid shows, their Saturday morning shows, then to me, why can't you do the same? To say, hey, you're not going to leave us out of this. Why can't you do the same? You could. You honestly could. And I think they had an opportunity. But I think from a production standpoint, they couldn't do it because of the fact that, um, the episode wasn't ready yet. Or at least one of the parts wasn't ready yet. And the same could be said for Doomsday. Even if it was still going to be the final 4 episodes of the show, period, officially at that time, I think, especially during the holiday season, the beginning of the holiday season, putting those final 4 episodes together as a movie, showing it in prime time on Thanksgiving Friday or Thanksgiving Saturday in the evening, on ABC, I think would have been a great idea. Because one, not only would you get a bigger audience to watch it, but by getting that bigger audience, you're sending a message to ABC that, hey, maybe this is something you want to keep around. Maybe this is something you want to keep around and keep invested in. And they would have sent the same thing sent the same kind of message to Sega, if you will. They would have done that, and I think again the message would have been sent, and I think it would have been sent loud and clear, like, hey, we want this to stick around, and look how many people tuned in to see these final 4 episodes comprised together as a movie. I mean, why do you think I did it that way? Because I feel it deserves that. It deserves that opportunity to be looked or seen and viewed as such. So to me, I still think they missed out on a huge opportunity either way. I think they missed out on a huge opportunity either way. I really do. But I'm going to tell you this too. We got Sonic Prime coming out this year. He's supposed to go through all these universes. If he ends up in a universe, if he ends up in a universe that's similar to Sonic SatAM, hopefully, it's done, the characters are done justice. Hopefully the characters are done justice. And, we get some good VAs to voice them. I really hope they're done justice. But I'll say one thing. They better not do any adaptation of the Mecha Sally arc. Because if they do, they better do it in a way where it's not freaking one. I'll put it this way: if they do a Mecha Sally arc adaptation in Sonic Prime, or if the Sonic Prime thing is a big enough success to where they could say, "Hey, let's do some Sonic specials and movies, inspired by this," they better not do one on Mecha Sally, because if they decide to do it, they better do it in a way that gives it, a better, a story than what we got in the comics. Because again, it's like I said, the Mecha Sally arc was probably one of the downsides of Ian's run. Because how can you make someone like Sally and Nicole look the way they did, or look idiotic the way they did? I mean, yeah, the idea she wants to give back to her planet, save her family and friends is one thing. But having her get roboticized in the process, and you have Nicole with the ability to hack in and take the cannon and go pew into the sky and hit nothing. I mean, come on, seriously. It makes a character like her look dumb in the long run. Just like I mentioned, and just like I mentioned with, Fiona in the SatAM live stream I did the other day. You're basically making, a character look idiotic, if you will. Because, going back to what I said in the SatAM live stream, Archie Sonic SatAM live stream, that is, why would you, here's the thing, what evidence was there that Fiona was going to turn her back on the Freedom Fighters? There was no evidence. There was no evidence whatsoever she was going to turn her back on the Freedom Fighters. Because if there was evidence she was going to do so, ladies and gentlemen, if there was evidence she was going to do so, we would have seen that evidence. We would have seen, things going on. We would have seen something. I mean, a good example of how it was done right, all right? A good example of that is when Drago, that's his name, that's the character's name, when Drago did it to the Wolfpack and the Freedom Fighters in Endgame. When you were building up to Endgame, he kept disappearing. And even Loop, who was his leader, was wondering, where the heck are you going? You're never telling us where you're disappearing to. That right there gave off any kind of red flag, like something's not right here with this character, something suspicious about this character, something not right about them. When did you see that with Fiona besides, her just disappearing and not being seen? You didn't see her whatsoever. I mean, 160, one of the first issue that Ian did, 160, 161, there, basically when Sally and all of them are questioning, okay, how do you know being in Bark? How do you know Sleuth Doggy Dog? What's going on? And you have her basically explain, hey, I knew them in my past, but that's the past. I'm trying to move forward. That's a good example right there of, okay, you're wondering why this person knows what to do against these individuals. What's her connection, or what's their connection? And then the answer they give basically isn't one of, well, why are you questioning me? Like Drago did to Loop. You have, her basically explaining, look, whatever they're telling you, whatever you're suspecting, it's wrong, or it's a lie because I'm trying to redeem myself. And that's a good example, right? And that right there is the best example of a character trying to say, hey, I'm not that way anymore. I'm trying to get away from that. You don't toss that away. You don't toss that potential that you had right there away, by saying, well, I need somebody to be Scourge's Sally to Sonic Sally. You don't do that. The best options you could have done is take Anti-Sally, Alicia Acorn from Moebius. You could have created a new character, or you could have brought in, even as early as that, your interpretation of Breezy the Hedgehog. And it would have worked better. Instead of just taking everything that was built towards redeeming a character and tossing it away, because now all of a sudden the character has a relapse and it's like, oh, I don't like Sonic anymore. It didn't make sense. And I think a lot of people were right. Out of due respect to Ian, it was lazy writing. Period. Just lazy writing. And to me, with the Mecha Sally thing, again, I look at it as him trying to have his own magnum opus, his own Phoenix Saga and all that. But still, the potential was there. The idea was great. The execution was poor. And that's about it. That's about it. And now you see with the IDW books, he tried to get his magnum opus finally with the Metal Virus arc. But you notice how people were getting bored of that. They were getting bored to death with that. And, and that was supposed to be something based off an idea he originally wanted to, a concept that he originally wanted to execute in the Soft Red Connor reboot of the Archie book. So, again, when I look at the Mecha Sally arc, I look at something that had the potential to be good, but the execution was flawed. Just like the fact that when he turned, Fiona, bad again. I mean, yeah, it gave her a lot more character. It gave her a lot more personality in the eyes of a lot of folks, but still, it just did not make sense. At the end of the day, it did not make sense. Period. But anyway, though, guys, it's getting late. It's about 9:16 in the evening Pacific time. I am going to end this Shooting the Breeze live stream that I've done. That's a continuation of the last one, which was a lot shorter. The last one was only 45 minutes, 10 seconds. This is going on 3 hours. Thank you all for joining me, though. Really appreciate it. Check out everything I've talked about. Check out the Teespring store. Check out my podcast, the BW Roses Discussions, on all your favorite audio podcast locations, except for Pandora. Also, check me out in the podcast affiliates like Spotify, Apple and Amazon Music, if they have video podcasting enabled along with audio, you can have an option of both there. And if you're listening to the podcast on anchor.fm, listener support is activated if you want to help there. Also, check me out at BW Roses on VENMO for content you can't get here sometimes due to copyright reasons. A good example is you will see a copy of Speed Me Up, my Sonics at AM fan vid from last year over there. I originally put that over there last year due to the fact that I couldn't put it here on YouTube, but thankfully I've been able to rectify that this year. Well, actually, it was back in 2020, so thankfully I was able to rectify it last year in 2021. Things are better now with that, but still check out the VENMO channel under BW Roses. Also check me out at patreon.com at BW Roses. I have a $1 tier for just helping me out. If you choose to do so, it'd be greatly appreciated. Or even a $3 tier for not just helping me out, but also getting content you can't get anywhere else for a limited time before I make it public. I do have one Patreon supporter there right now. His name is Daniel Turner. Thank you, Daniel, for that. And also check me out at Venmo at Brian-Walmer-2 to help support me there financially as well. So that's about it, guys. I'm going to shut this down. It's been going over for 3 hours and 1 minute and 20 seconds. Y'all take care. Y'all have a good, safe Friday night, and I will talk to y'all later.